recounts. If you guys want to head over there, some media.
That is right.
I'm just going to talk to Kieran, who's come off the plane from Turkey, having been in Israel in prison, having been on the flotilla for many days, and you look quite cool about it, actually. But how did you? I mean, I can't imagine you might. How are you going? How's it going in your? How's it going? How do you feel?
It's hard to say right now. The owl of Minerva flies out at dusk, as Hegel said. It'll take time for me to know how I feel. But to be honest with you, right now, I'm really committed to two things. First of all, getting every last comrade out of that godforsaken prison. That's the first thing. And the second thing, once that's done, is continuing to campaign in any way that I can from here for our brothers and sisters in Palestine and in Gaza in particular. So those two things keep me going, they carry me through. I'll probably need a good bath and a few good sleeps, and then I'll be able to process things a bit more. But I feel okay. I feel all right, and the fact that people have come to greet us here is really wonderful. It's really appreciated. Evie as well. Both of us, we felt an intense set of emotions, an intense array of emotions over the past month, particularly in the past 5 days. So to have everybody turn out and show this kind of solidarity, that's what we were trying to do for the people of Gaza. We were trying to bring them aid, but we were also trying to show them solidarity. And what I understand, Crispin, is that I haven't seen the video yet, I can't verify it myself, but people have told me that because we kept the IDF busy 3 nights ago, whatever it was, I've lost track of time, several families or a community in Gaza were able to go and fish and catch fish. Usually they'd be shot by those bastard, scurrilous S-13 IDF Navy people. But because we kept them so busy with our boats, some people in Gaza were able to eat fish for a night or two, and that means a lot to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of positives from it. The fact that you live streamed a lot of this as well. People were watching you on the boat as this was happening. What do you think about the media? Have you looked at how the media haven't really covered this since you were arrested or whatever the word is, kidnapped,
held hostage? Well, I haven't. First thing to say is I haven't been able to see anything. I haven't got a phone. We had to chuck our phones in the sea. Not very good for the environment, but it had to be done because otherwise the IDF get hold of your information, the Israeli authorities get your data. So there's no question of letting them have our phones. So all the phones went into the sea at the moment of interception, including while I was recording. So I've been completely out of the loop. So I don't know how the media's reported it. What I can say is that our comrades from Spain and Italy and Ireland, people like Taig Hickey, who's still in there, unless he was released today, and I'm hoping he was. I need to find out. I shared a cell with him, and he came back from his consular general, who told him that it's all over the news in Ireland, that they're debating it in Parliament in Ireland. Then somebody came back from Spain and said that his consular general told him that Italy and Spain are on fire with this stuff. People are striking, people are going out the streets. If it's the case that the British media has blacked out coverage of this, it wouldn't surprise me, because we're a former colonial imperial heartland, and the legacy media and those institutions are remnants of that. So of course they're going to try and keep their public as pacified as possible and keep them as quiet as possible. And so I'll have to review the papers, as they say, and go back over the past few days because I haven't seen anything, but it wouldn't surprise me.
So, it's so frustrating. You've gone through all that. I mean, I need to ask you something else, which is I'd be terrified, right? If I saw an Israeli troop with all their gear on, coming on a boat, my head would be going, they're going to kill me. They'll find some way of getting me and whatever. I mean, how did you... Because you seem quite composed, but I mean, were those thoughts, intrusive thoughts going on? How did you stop that kind of thing?
I think the more that I hate something, the less frightened of it I am. And I hate the state of Israel more than I've ever hated anything. So I think that insulated me to a degree against fear. I think, fear is obviously the legitimate and the rational thing to feel in that situation. And I could see palpably some of my comrades were more fearful than others, than me maybe. I don't really know why. Maybe there's a link missing in my brain or something, but I didn't feel scared when they intercepted our boat. I didn't feel scared at any point that they were on our boat. I didn't really feel scared when we got to land and we were being roughed up by the Israeli police. There was a moment where I did think to myself, shit, maybe I'm going to be killed. And I have to say, that was the one moment where I did think, maybe, okay, this is fear. This is a bit of fear. But it only lasted 5-10 minutes. Basically, they came to our cell and they did this kind of thing all the time. They banged on the cell doors. They got us to stand to attention, woke us up. Then they'd go away. Then they'd come back and do it again. They did that on repeat. Psychological warfare. Right. Keep us exhausted and so on. But there was one time when they came and they woke me up and they dragged me out and they said, this was a prison in the middle of the desert, by the way, where Palestinians used to be taken to be tortured and raped. But it's the truth, so it needs to be included. So they dragged me out and they took me with about 3 or 4 other lads from Muslim backgrounds, and ethnic heritage from the global south. Now, when you're dealing with racists like the Israelis, that usually means something bad. So they dragged the 4 of us and they took us to they drove us. They refused to tell us where they were taking us. They threw us onto this bus. It was middle of the desert, remember? And the sun was just coming up, so it was getting really hot. And they were pumping hot air onto the bus to make it even hotter. And I said, where are you taking us? And they were really aggressive. They're saying, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. So they took us and they dropped us off and they dragged us into this tiny little corrugated iron hut with a bed with no mattress, a toilet in the middle of the room that was smashed to pieces, and a tap, and that was it. And on the walls there was, excuse me for the graphic detail, but shit smeared on the walls and lots of writing in Arabic. And I realised when I was there, this is where they used to talk. This is one of the places they used to torture Palestinian prisoners. And we were there for about 5 minutes, then they came and got us, dragged us out, took us to see a judge. That's all they were doing. But because they want to terrorise people, they don't tell you what they're doing. At that moment, I did think, shit, we're done for here. They're going to either kill us or they're just going to leave us in here to rot. That was one moment where I did feel a bit scared. Other than that, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I didn't feel that scared at all.
And was there a lot of adrenaline going on with you there? I mean,
there was a lot of adrenaline, and I was worried about my family. I was worried about my mum. I was worried about my girlfriend. I was worried about my friends, family. Of course, I was worried about everybody back home, and I was thinking that was playing on my mind a lot. So I was anxious in that sense. But the IDF police, they're so repellent. You can imagine, they're so repulsive, they're such thugs, they're such savage thugs, so aggressive, so stupid, knuckle scraping. It kind of makes you feel hatred before you feel fear. And, so that kind of anger kind of, as I say, insulated me from the worst aspects of facing that kind of treatment in terms of the fear that you might typically or rationally feel.
I mean, the thing that we've seen here, the footage we've seen is Ben Gvir going down the corridor, boasting about this sort of cells that everyone's in, and then a picture of him in front of a crowd saying, you're all terrorists. Were you in that?
Yeah, I was there. Let me tell you. Yeah, so Ben Gvir, I've got a personal message for Ben Gvir. I look at the camera to say it. Ben Gvir, you said you were going to lock us up under terror charges for 10 years. Well, what's going on, man? I'm back home. It's 2 days later. It was a failure. Everything the guy says is hot air. He's a repulsive slug, and everything he does is for show. He came out and said, you're all terrorists. We made him look like a mug. We all shouted, free, free Palestine. They were they were scared that we were going to get out of control, and they were also really shocked that we did that. They weren't expecting it. They expected us to be cowed, like mice before a cat, cowed into silence and reverence. And that's what he expected. He came out thinking that was going to happen. And instead, we made him look like a fool in his own yard. And then he came to the prison cell. One of my friends spat at his feet. Wow. Someone else said, you're a baby killer. It didn't go the way Ben Gvir wanted. He wanted us to be locked up for 10 years. And I'm back in the UK 3 days later. Yeah. So fuck him and the horse he rode in.
I mean, all he's done really is do a good audition for a Bond villain. That might be his next job.
Yeah, a very slobbering, unattractive Bond villain that looks like a salted slug. Yeah, if they want that, then the casting director knows where to look.
Yeah. Oh, look, honestly, that is so amazing that you were there, and we've all watched it. I mean, showing it on the show this morning, and everyone was repulsed by him. The fact that you were there, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, and I mean, and coming back and telling your story, it's so good.
Well, let's say one more thing to annoy Ben Gvir. I don't know realistically whether he watches your show or any show, but there's a small chance he might one day see this. What Ben Gvir didn't realise, I mean, I didn't speak to him personally, obviously I wouldn't be able to contain myself. But what Ben Gvir didn't realise, and what the Israeli authorities didn't realise, is that I'm actually half Palestinian. But I've got a European name because my mum is French. So I managed to go under the radar. So Ben Gvir, you let a Palestinian into your country. And you took me wherever you wanted to take me, but I got away because you didn't realise I was Palestinian. So put that in your hat.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud to have met you. It's great to see you.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you.